is make this effort and I put it. Happy love from another he enjoys only the love of the other and forgets about self-love at that time each of them begins to receive pleasure only from caring for his friend and they cannot worry about themselves because one can labor only where he can receive pleasure again source except after one receives the garment of love from another he enjoys only the love of the other and forgets about self-love at that time each of them begins to receive pleasure only from caring for his friend and they cannot worry about themselves because one can labor only where he can receive pleasure. Workshop. Let's build a prayer for world peace through our connection. Again, active workshop. Let's build a prayer for world peace through our connection. I'm praying for the Creator that he'll keep on the force of unity in Israel and all around the world, and that will keep our differences aside and come together, and especially the sons of Israel to just ask. I'm asking for courage and steadfastness and protection for our warriors, all the people who go, and through that connection that we build, help it aid the men to do the work that they have to do for the rest of the world so that world peace will be accomplished. The prayer of the friends. Dear Creator, we are grateful for the opportunity to serve the friends and enter this morning lesson together. Please correct our intentions and connect our hearts to make us a conduit for your light to humanity. Thank you for bringing us to this path of love and peace. Shalom. Bring us to adhesion with you to bring you contentment. Ben. Shalom. Hello. We are reading in the Writings of Rash, Volume 4, page 302, article What is Peace in the Work. You can find the study material on and you can send questions live through the sites. Okay, we'll start from the first article. What is peace in the work? The verse says, therefore, say, behold, I give him my covenant of peace, because he was jealous for his God, and made atonement for the children of Israel. We should understand this in the work. 1. What is because he was jealous for his God? 2. What is and made atonement for the children of Israel? 3. What is my covenant of peace? It is known that the order of the work is that a person must achieve the completion of the goal, which is that he will receive the delight and pleasure that was in his desire to do good to his creations. However, in order for man to merit receiving it, he must fight with the other, the side which is quality of the nations of the world, which opposes the quality of Israel. Israel means that all their actions are straight to the Creator, while the nations of the world are the opposite of cuss, holiness, and want everything for their own sake, for which they are separated from the life of lives. Because of this they are called dead, as it is written, the mercy of the nations is a sin, and the interprets all the good that they do for themselves. This means that they only work for their own benefit, since man is born with a desire to receive for himself, which is AIP. It is written in the introduction to the book of C, and he remains under the authority of that system for the first 13 years, which is the time of corruption, and by engaging in mitzvah and commandments from 13 years of age onward, in order to bestow contentment upon his Maker, he begins to purify the water, receive for himself imprinted in him, and slowly turns it to be in order to bestow. By this he extends a holy soul from its root in the worlds of sorry, from its root in the thought of creation, and it passes through the system of the world's office and dresses in the Body, this is the time of correction, and so he accumulates degrees of from the thought of creation in infinity until they aid him in turning the will to receive for himself in him to work entirely in order to bestow contentment upon his Maker, and not at all for his own benefit. By this one acquires equivalence of form with his Maker. It therefore follows that a person should qualify himself to have equivalence of form, for precisely through vessels of bestow he can receive the completeness of delight and pleasure. However, in order to be rewarded with vessels of bestow, which are vessels that work for the sake of the Creator, and which are against the nature with which man is born, since man is born the opposite, with a desire to receive only for himself. Therefore, as long as he works for reward and punishment called lishna, not for her sake, the body does not resist the work so much. When a person wants to engage in a holy work, to make it a means by which to attain vessels of bestow, which is completely against nature, the body comes with who and what questions corresponding to the mind and to the heart, which is called spice. Although the person overcomes each time the order is that, then the entire order of the work is in ascends and descends, and a person comes to a state where he wants to give up on ever achieving equivalence of form. Also, many times he wants to escape the campaign because he sees that his work is in vain, and he has no reason to hope that it will ever be good as he sees from the past. For this reason, many people who begin the work of bestow see that it is too difficult, and therefore leave this work, and say that this work is only for great people and not for ones like him. This is the time when a person has complaints and demands to the Creator, and he is in dispute with the Creator and argues. 1. Why did the Creator create him with a nature of wanting to receive? Why the Creator want him to counsel his vessels of reception? After all, the Creator is good and does good. Why is he not behaving toward us as we understand? We understand the ascents and descents in such a way that sometimes during the ascent we are at peace with the Creator and say about him that he leads the world as the good who does good, but during the descent we haven't the strength to say that he behaves with a guidance of the good who does good. Hence we are always in. Why is the order of the work so difficult that it requires ascends and descent? The known answer to this is what is written as the advantage of the light from within the darkness. In other words, it is impossible to receive light if he has no lack and need for the light. This reason, when a person sees that the nations of the world in him object to the Creator, and he cannot tolerate the enemy of Israel within him, as he becomes jealous for his God, and does not look at any descents he has, and does what he can, and cries out to the Creator to help him be able to defeat the wicked ones within him. By this he overcomes and does not escape the campaign. At that time the Creator gives him the covenant, that is, he makes a covenant with him that there will be peace between him and the Creator by receiving a gift from the Creator, which is the vessels of bestow. This is regarded as making a covenant, which is the keeper shall called will to receive for himself, and instead of the fork in the Creator gives him vessels of bestow, and by this they make a covenant, meaning peace. It follows that through one's jealousy for one's God, when he sees that all the nations of the world in his body slander the work, when a person wants to work for the sake of the Creator, even though a person often overcomes their views and says, I am certain that the Creator will help me, as it is written, he who comes to purify is Did they laugh at him and tell him, but you see for yourself how many times you said that the Creator would help you, yet you are standing in the same situation as when you started to work. Therefore leave this. Here a person needs great strengthening, called because he was jealous for his God. At that time a person prays to the Creator and says, not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory. Why should the nations say, where is their God? It turns out that at that time a person cries out for the glory of the Creator. How the nations within him mock him when he says, I trust the Creator to help me. At that time they say, where is their God? You, Israel, say that the Creator will help you. And when a person is jealous for the Creator, when he is concerned with the glory of the divinity, meaning regrets the regrets that there is in them, dust cannot stand how they despise the work in order to bestow. This is called what is written about penis. Therefore say, behold, I give him my covenant of peace, because he was jealous for his God, is as it is written in the book, that when a person regrets the Creator not bringing him closer, he should be careful that it will not be for his own sake, meaning because he is far from the Creator, since by this he becomes a receiver for his own benefit, and the receiver is in separation. Instead he should regret the exile of the, meaning that he is causing the sorrow of the person should depict to himself that it is like a person feeling pain in some small organ. Nonetheless, the pain is felt primarily in the mind and in the heart, for the mind and the heart are the whole of man. Likewise the pain that a person feels when he is far from the Creator, since man is but a particular part of the holy, and is the whole of the soul of Israel. For this reason the personal pain is incomparable with a general pain. This is called the sorrow of the. When a person regrets this, it is called because he was jealous for his God. Such a person the Creator says, I give him my covenant of peace. Peace means, as it is written, I will hear what God the Lord will say, for he will speak peace unto his people and unto his followers, and let them not turn back to folly. In other words, at that time the Creator tells them peace, meaning that then peace is made because the Creator gives him as a present the vessels of bestow, and naturally he no longer has anyone who objects to working for the sake of the Creator. Before he receives the covenant of peace, all the vessels of reception which belong to the nations of the world object to a person working for the sake of the Creator, as it is written, I will hear what God the Lord will say, for he will speak peace and let them not turn back to folly. This means that they will no longer have dissents where they want to work for their own benefit, since a fool is one who does not work on the path of holiness, one who wants to walk on the path of that all his actions will be in order to bestow is called wise. It is as said, who is a wise disciple? He who learns from the Creator, who is called wise. In other words, he learns from him the quality. As he is merciful, so you are merciful. This means that when a person learns to be a giver just as the Creator is the giver, he is called wise. It follows that the opposite is called a fool. Thus the fact that a person has been rewarded with a covenant of peace is because he was jealous for his God, meaning that he saw that the nations of the world in him despise the holy work, which is to work for the sake of the Creator. This is the meaning of what is written, and made atonement for the children of Israel. That is, he was jealous for his God, in that he wants that by this there will be atonement for the children of Israel, so they will have the strength to work for the sake of the Creator, which is called, yes, straight to the Creator. meaning that they will be able to work for the sake of the Creator. By this they are rewarded with His, so He will not turn back to folly. However, there is a difficult question here. What can one do if he hasn't the power of jealousy, and when he hears the argument of the spies and wants to run away from them so as not to hear the slander they speak, but as much as he moves away from them, they awaken in him a desire and yearning to nonetheless listen to what they say, and at that moment he descends from his degree and falls into their net. The only advice for this is prayer, that is, you should ask the Creator not to be taken after the view of the spies, but only when the thoughts of the spies chase him. This is the heart of the work, not to be taken after the spies. But why indeed is there room for the argument of the spies? The answer is that it is impossible to feel a good taste in the light unless from within the darkness. As it is written, the advantage of the light from within the darkness. It is written in mid, her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. All that is written in the Torah was written for the purpose of peace, and even though wars are written in the Torah, even the wars were written for the purpose of peace. We should understand what means that the wars were written for the purpose of peace, and that because of it the Torah is called and all her paths are peace. There must be explanations to this. In the literal, in the work, we should interpret that we asked, why do we need the argument of the spies and all those dissents? We explained that the reason is that it is impossible to understand anything except according to the need for the matter, since there is no feeling without a lack. It follows that all the words that were written in the Torah when pining to the work, it follows that all the wars are in relation to work, and since it is impossible to feel a good taste in peace if there is no war, meaning that only when there is war, when there is the war of inclination which wants to work only for itself, and a person wants to work for the sake of the Creator, then there is the matter of darkness, meaning ascends and descents. Then a need is born within man that the Creator will help him, since he sees that by himself he does not, how he will be able to emerge from the control of self-love. At that time he truly needs the Creator to help him, and then the Creator gives him my covenant of peace. That is, the Creator gives him a gift, vessels of bestow, by which he is rewarded with adhesion with the Creator. And then the verse, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, comes true, as our sages said, with both your inclinations, the good inclination in the evil inclination. This is called my covenant of peace. 12. All right, let's answer some questions. Not he, me. Will start. Froman, what actions bring a person to trust the Creator? Say it again. What actions bring a person to have trust in the Creator? Faith in the Creator, confidence in Him. Confidence is the light that shines upon the person from the Creator. If the person needs it, if the person needs it, if he sees his relationship with the group, the environment, how much he's capable or incapable of advancing, then accordingly is his demand for confidence. Confidence is the light that shines from the place above our mark. For I understood from the article that the point of covenant to which we earn is to reach peace with the Creator, to make a covenant with the Creator that He will help me overcome the nature in order to receive. Is this the point of our unity? Also says in the article that you can fight against the only through Israel, one who is for the Creator. This is why we have to gather together. So the question is, how should we build this circle in the 10 so that from its center We turn to the Creator. To do that we have to always try to be together, to connect to single, who as written as one man in one desire, towards one goal, and then we gradually reach a state where we have the desire for it, meaning we demand them Crete to help us in that, to connect, to unite, and in such a way we achieve such a state. Thank you, Keith. 1. It is written in the article that person draws the holy soul from its root, and it goes through the system of the worlds of Ka and dresses in the body. What is this process that the soul goes through in its clothing in man's body, which we draw? This is light that comes from the Creator, penetrating through all the world both, and reaches the person, influences him, and clothes in him, and in such a way everything unifies by that light. All right. Latin. 1. Why do we forget about the covenant with the Creator even after we pray? Because that still is not important to us. Bit by bit, the matter of the covenant, the connection with the Creator, becomes increasingly important, but that's a path there, and it takes time, a lot of time and a lot of effort that a person has to make and has to reveal, and then we realize that the connection with the Creator is necessary so that we will build ourselves in the right, true, and certain. Wow. Thank you very much. What is the work we have to reach in order to envy, to be jealous of the Creator, to get closer to him as much as possible, get closer to him? Can ask a question to the Creator. Does that mean that the whole group is in one common desire that is very similar to the Creator desire for bestow and love? Yes. Thank you. Archery. To OK Turkey. To through the way of the Creator's love and peace, how can a person run away from the ego and everything that's in him and come to a state of straight to the Creator with a pure soul and an awakening? Only by increasing the connection with the group, that in the center of the connection between them he pictures the Creator, and that's how he wants to reveal the Creator in the by the connection with the friends. Understood. Latin. 13. When a person is until the 13 years he is influenced by that, and then it says that a holy soul is extended to us from the root. What is the holy soul from the root? Is it what you just explained to K? The holy soul from the root mean that when a person is on the path after a period called 13 years, it's not an actually 13 years, it's just a period called that way. He begins to receive from above in an acknowledgement of the Creator, a feeling of the Creator. He begins to connect with that upper force that shines on him from above, and then the vessels in which a person receives the feeling of the Creator, that's called his soul. Bell. Bellis, why is it so difficult to work in Besto? How can we make it easier in the spiritual work? Work and Bestel is not difficult. It's really not difficult. It's rather impossible. Impossible because this quality is completely non-existent within us. It's like you say, fly like a bird. What can I do with that? Same thing with the work of Besto. I don't have that quality that I'll include within me, activate within me, and then start working in Bull. This quality is formed in us by the influence of the Creator, the upper light, and that's what we need to get closer to. Closer through the group, yes, of course. Through everything that we learn, that's why we learn. So it's the method that makes the work easier. It's not just makes the work easier, it connects us, unites us, strengthens us. Our method is everything. Latin. 12. It is written that a person and the Creator, when he sees how all the nations of the world slander him, I feel like I have resistance, but I don't have slander against the work is slander a higher state, so you have to continue until you feel in your evil desire that it's evil. You haven't yet discovered that it's evil, that's why you don't have that need for correction that rubbish writes about. Ma. 22. It is written in the articles that in a person there are both righteous and wicked. Who is the person? Himself, who sees all. That's just a W to receive. Santiago. Let's continue. The article talks about the spies. What are spies and how do they work in the 10? The spies are those desires, thoughts, actions that wish to grab hold of us and distract us sideways and pull us to all kinds of actions far from best of spirituality and getting closer to the Creator. That's why they're called spies. In B. All right, in B. How to come to taste, because we want rest on relaxation, and he's talking about spiritual work and how can we taste the taste of peace. We have to try to do that in the group. As Rash writes, Africa. Good morning are in the work. When a person feel in a good connection with a tenter, suddenly a voice comes slowly complaining about the corporal status and their stuff and throw him out of the work. So how to monitor these small voices which differ from the work? He has to check what such voices are doing. There are two directions: a force that is about continuing the work and one that is about leaving the work, and he has to scrutinize with which he wants to continue and thus continue. Right. A friend asked about extending the holy soul and you answered it's the light coming from above, and another friend asked about confidence and you gave somewhat the same answer. What's the difference between? Repeat please. Can you repeat again? Say the question again. Yeah, no problem. So the extending your holy soul, you answer that it's the life coming from above, and a confidence you also answer that it's life coming from above. So the question is, what's the difference between the two? It's the same thing in essence, meaning we need to get closer to the Creator. We need the arpoit to influence us more and give us the strength and desire to connect between us and thus connect to the Creator. Spain 1. How can a person come to be jealous for the Creator? What does it mean to be jealous for the Creator? That is when he tries to work in order to bestow and wants to advance on this path towards the complete correction. Then he begins to be jealous towards the Creator. Good morning. Hello friend. Thank you. So is it the rejection we feel in the topic of the covenant? Can we use this rejection as the foundation for the jealousy? Yes, if we correctly use traction and rejection, we all together build the click mosque. 1. Is it possible to somehow organize myself so that the arguments of the spies will only be strong to a certain extent? I don't really understand why we need to demand in such a way. What the Creator gives us is everything required for our development, therefore we should just accept it that way. Thank you. It is written, and they explain that the reason is that because it is impossible to understand anything except according to the need for it. So how can we exit on the need for self-control in order to come to the need to bestow? We have to always think about it in the group, and each friend has to strengthen all the other friends. That our goal is to achieve the force of bestow, and then from that we want to get closer to the Creator and demand from him the help, the power, the importance, and so forth. Okay. 1. What does it mean that the Creator has given us the covenant of peace? Is peace a victory over the evil inclination, or does it show the complete unification with the Creator who is fighting for Us no peace is, called that a person receives strength to cope with all his desires that are opposite to the purpose of creation, that he'll be able to connect all his forces for the sake of reaching connection with the Creator. This is called peace in the work. Woman Turkey. So we have women Turkey. One, what is the power that awakens a person so he feels the help of the Creator more strongly than in the past? Force of bestow that finally awakens in a person, and a person feels that it is stronger than the force of reception that he had before, if I understood your question correctly. Woman New York 4. Yes, okay, women New York 4. There is the which is our common vessel, or common soul, and there's the Creator. And there's also man, the point of man. So, on the one hand, a person is incorporated in the common vessel in order to fill it, meaning so the Creator can fill it. On the other hand, the point of man yearns to unite with the thought of the Creator. So it turns out that a person is neither there nor here. What is the place of man? Point of man has to aspire to the Creator. That's where he came from, that's where he has to come back. But coming out of the Creator is under the influence of the ego, and therefore returning to the Creator can only be if he transforms his ego to a force of connection, of linkage with the Creator, and then his connection with the Creator will become a complete connection with all his and soul, and that's what we need to achieve. So it turns out that there is man's body, all of that there, that's not. There's no reason to come up with new definition here. No, we'll continue and we'll clarify this further. We mustn't approach this the way you did. Turkey 7. The Creator is guiding our every action, is the winner of the battle, not determined already. Is it possible for a man to have free will between his tendency to work for himself or to work for the Creator? It's as though there is free choice to a person for whom to work for himself or for the Creator. But in the end he understands that our work in the end is only to ask for the strength to work for the sake of the Creator, and that's it. There are no other possibilities, and this is how we have to work. He wrote in the article, and only when the thoughts of the spies chase him then is the work to not be drawn after them. The question is how to identify the spies, especially where they wrap their complaints in that it's as if advancing you to spirituality. So how do you identify them? Check if through their recommendations, attractions, you are getting closer to the friends. First of all, this is the safest. Be how to hate self-reception. You can learn it, you can understand it. Sometimes there are moments of illumination where you get closer to the Creator, but then you're pushed away. Again, you have to do it in this way. You have to check what exactly that action that you're in is giving you. Is it giving you moving, nearing the Creator, moving away from the Creator, nearing the friends, or moving away from the friends? And with this kind of sorting, this kind of anal is through it you'll be able to scrutinize what exactly is happening to you and change the direction of your development. Czechoslovakia 2. Good morning. Question of my friend: whoever wants to follow the path of holiness must first develop the quality of mercy, or is it enough if he develops well the quality of judgment? Thank you. Neither judgment nor mercy afterwards. Along the way we will discover what exactly it is. This is why this question is still not F. Also, when the one who was asking, we need only to work on the connection between us, and in this way we will attain what we want. Women Turkey N. Good morning, Rob and all the friends. It is said that the pain is felt in the mind and heart. Is that within reason or above reason? It is within reason. The suffering is felt within reason. Latin 24. How to learn to be wise and also to not suffer that there will be in the dust. For this we have to create a good connection between us among the members of the group, and the closer we come to each other, the more we will see that we are coming into one connection, one group, one force, and we discover in it the one upper force, woman cab, women cab. You thank you, Ra thank you. World unity when we're all different, contradictory, even repelling one another, aspiring for connection, because and specifically in connection to discover the creator, and then the state of aspiring for this state. This is called the unity. Shem. He mentions here from don't be sorry for yourself, because that brings separation. Be sorry for the exiled divinity of the, but it's like telling a person don't feel what you feel what's written. How can you be sorry for that? I think it's actually not so difficult. I regret the general state of the group that I'm in. My 10. This is what I'm sorry for. This is what I regret. Why does it not yearn for adhesion with the Creator? Why do we not have such a connection between us in the 10 where the Creator can be revealed? That's it. Mark 22. What's the difference between the will to receive and the state of wicked? The will to receive is the will to receive which the Creator created, and the desire of a sinner. This is someone of a wicked. This is someone who works according to the will to receive and is governed by it. It took us exactly an hour to discuss this article for the first time. Can we ask him, where do you receive this power called the envy of the Creator? From the Creator. So as preparation to what's written, we need to ask to be jealous of the Creator so that we don't betray with other desires. Yeah, from the Creator. Okay, let's take a few minutes break and continue. So before the next part we'll sing a song for sh for e he. We are reading from the study of the 10 from volume 1 from the Inner Observation, chapter 6, item 25. Headline: the will to receive is set in the emanated being only through his awakening to receive of its own accord. This means that the will to receive has to awaken in someone in the being only on condition that it comes from him, from within him, and not from someone on the outside. This is called his will to receive. The will to receive is set in the emanated being only through its awakening to receive of its own accord. Yes, item 25. Because the vessel is the root of the darkness, as it is opposite from the light, it must therefore be activated slowly, gradually, by way of cause and consequence. This is the meaning of the verse. The water conceived and begot darkness. The darkness is a result of the light itself and is operated by it, as in conception and birth, meaning potential and actual. This means that the will to receive is necessarily included in any expanding light. However, it is not regarded as a disparity of form. Before this desire is clearly set in the light, the will to receive that is included in the light by the emanator is not enough for this. Rather, the emanated being itself must independently reveal the will to receive in him in practice, meaning of his own choice. This means that he must extend abundance through his own will more than the measure of the light of the expansion in him by the emanator. After the emanated being is operated by its own choice, by increasing the measure of its desire, the yearning and the will to receive become fixed in it, and the light can clothe this vessel permanently. It is true that the light of N seemingly expands over all 4 phases, reaching the full measure of the desire by the emanated being itself being phase for since it would not emerge from his anyhow and acquire a name for himself, meaning in, however in his Almightiness the form did not change at all because of the will to receive, and no change is distinguished there between the light and the place of the light, which is the desire to enjoy. They are one and the same thing. It is written, before the world was created there was he is one and his name one. It is indeed difficult to understand this double reference, he and his name. What has his name got to do there? Before the world was created, it should have said before the world was created he was one. However, this refers to the light of n, which preds the restriction, even though there is a place there and a will to receive the abundance from his self. It is still without change and distinction between the light and the place. He is one means the light of n, his name is one means the desire to enjoy included there without any change whatsoever. Understand what our sages implied, that his name is desire in Gatria, meaning the desire to enjoy the truth. This is a very profound thing, and we cannot really analyze it and discuss it. It's still too soon. We just need to see a little bit that there is some sort of, should I put it, like a stumbling block on the way that we can run into, that we can stumble on. So let's read it again. Item 25 again. The will to receive is set in the emanated being only through its awakening to receive of it own accord. 25 Because the vessel is the root of the darkness, as it is the opposite from the light, it must therefore be activated slowly, gradually, by way of cause and consequence. This is the meaning of the verb. The water conceived and begot darkness. Darkness is a result of the light itself and is operated by it, as in conception and birth, meaning potential and actual. This means that the will to receive is necessarily included in any expanding light. However, it is not regarded as a disparity of form before this desire is clearly set in the light. The will to receive that is included in the light by the emanator is not enough for this. Rather, the emanated being itself must independently reveal the will to receive in him in practice, meaning of his own choice. This means that he must extend abundance through his own will more than the measure of the light of the expansion in him by the emanator. After the eighth being is operated by its own choice, by increasing the measure of its desire, the yearning and the will to receive become fixed in it, and the light can clothe this vessel permanently. It is true that the light of NF seemingly expands over all four phases, reaching the full measure of the desire by the emanated being itself being phase, for since it would not emerge from himself anyhow and acquire a name for himself, meaning, however in his Almightiness the form did not change at all because of the will to receive, and no change is distinguished there between the light and the place of the light, which is the desire to enjoy. They are one and the same thing. It is written, in before the world was created there was he is one and his name one. It is indeed difficult to understand this double reference, he and his name. What has his name got to do there? Before the world was created, it should have said, before the world was created he was one. However, this refers to the light of n, which precedes the restriction, even though there is a place there and a will to receive the abundance from his is still without change and distinction between the light and the place. He is one means the light of in his name is one means the desire to enjoy included there without any change whatsoever. Understand what our sages implied, that his name is desire in Gatria, meaning the desire to Enjoy on Moscow 7 Moscow. 7 phase for itself determines his name. Is. N. Meaning it draws all of into. It. Yes, what's the meaning? Here in phase. 4 requires a yearning, then the light is established. In it for eternity according to the desire that appeared in phase. For meaning wants to exist by itself, she wants to feel the light of one. What does it mean when it's written? Here in Gatria his name and desire is the same. The letters in the word shro and in the word desire are the same because according to the desire, that's how we call it with his its name. There are no other, the sermons only the desire, that's why it depends what desire we point at, and according to it is more characteristic, that's a desire we discover speaks of its desire or the desire of the created being. It's the created being's desire, and the creator's will that the created being will be revealed in such a way. So what's the meaning here in Gatria? Is it a certain ad compatibility? Theatry is the numerical meaning of the vessel. I got it. The question is if there's a certain compatibility between these values. Yes, of course you're right. It's written that when the person grows the vessel in order to receive the L of himself, the question is a person ask for more if he did not receive for his previous request, or first he asks then then he asks again. He can constantly change his requests. The main thing is that he knows clearly what he wants. His name is still in potential before we made the ascent. His name is the creator, the light of the creator that comes toward creation, and the created being according to what he receives can call it or define it in the name of the creator. That's what the creator wants, that the created being will feel inside. Meaning we need to fill this gap called his name through equivalence of form. Yes, that the innate being himself must reveal the will to receive in him, meaning he's obligated to draw the abundance in his desire more than the measure of the light. Yeah, how can he extend the abundance more than what the emanator gives him? Because the emanated being is the will to receive that, feels that he wants to receive what comes to him, and if he discovers more and more of a desire to feel what comes to him from the creator, so by this he increases his illumination that he receives from the creator, desires in a higher degree compared to what the emanator is willing to give it. Not that's clear exactly, no, not that the emit being is willing to give the will to receive that awakens in the created being wants to receive more and more. He awakens the light that comes from the creator, and by that increases his vessel, and in a vessel he created that he increased that he made in himself. In that he starts understanding and feeling and researching the creator. By what can the created being awaken to draw more? By the feeling that comes to him from the upper light that expands from the creator. The creator supposedly gives him a bit of a taste, and he, by preparing himself for the reception of the, by this he wants more. Then wanting more, there is the meeting place between him and the creator. Our English 1. Woman, good morning. Morning. What is the article? What does the article mean by the water? Conceive and begot. Darkness, we didn't learn that yet here. But what is the light of mercy? When the light of mercy comes and fills the vessel, what is revealed in the vessel? It prepares the vessel to receive the light of is the difference between the world to receive and the will to bestow. Only a matter of degrees between the receive and the W to bow. It's not only degrees, but it's in the W to receive. They cannot feel the same thing. It's not more or less, but it's something different in the vessel of the light of. You can't receive the light of mercy and The op or the opposite. That's why we have no choice. We need a vessel for the light of separate, and a vessel for the light of separate. Okay. Okay. A woman. Woman. Hello, I wanted to ask if I understood correctly. It says here that the awakening should also be by the power of the vessel, and the desire is also from the vessel, and the desire grows as a result of the light entering the CLE, and the CLE receives more light in order to satisfy the emanator. Either I'm confused along with your what did you ask, Gil? Maybe you understood. No, May should ask. She asked a few things together. It's a continuation of M's question. It says that everything depends on the desire of the eliminate being. Yeah, the question is, I understood that the light grows according to the desire, grows according to the light that is received in it, the light that it grows according to the growth of the desire. Yeah, well, why is the desire? Why the desire want to receive more? It feels that the creator wants him to receive more. There are a lot of things in this. It could be that I'll say it could be surrounding light that awakens him, because in the surrounding light he feels his future, that there's even more something to receive, there's even more flavors, all kinds of things like that. It's like you have the water SE for some food, but suddenly you feel a smell which it's not food, but that smell grows a new desire in you. Soon we'll learn about this all. Okay. I understood correctly. The EXT it says that the desire was created in equivalence of form, and if that's the case, why there needed to be a removal of it for the desire to feel that it's not with the feeling, and from that, how do I say it starts one thing that fulfill it, so is something lacking in the state of equivalence of form. Yes, because without the fulfillment the desires and emptiness, it is full. It is in equivalence of form according to what he's saying here. He and his name is one. What line are you talking about here? The entire last paragraph. It says that he and his name is one with all of his and everything he has, and so on, so forth. Yeah, but that's not on behalf of the vessel, meaning what is the vessel lacking to receive what it got from the light, but just to have its own desire to that state. This is seemingly the complete state, the corrected state that he's describing here. You want us to read this again, if possible, the last paragraph. There's no truth from however this refers to the light of himself increases through 4 phases, which his phase for nothing would come out on himself, meaning all his might. The form wasn't changed, and no change was apparent there between the light and the place which is the wall to enjoy, and they are one. Written in before the world was created was he, and his name is one. It is indeed difficult to understand, and this double reference, he and his name, what is his name to do there before the world was created? What's the matter of his name? Before the world was created, it should have said before the world was created he was one. However, this refers to the light of in self which precedes the restriction, even though there is a place there and a will to receive the abundance from his. It is still without change and distinction between the light and the place. There was no difference between who he's filling and what he's filling. No, and he is one, meaning the light of, and his name is one, means the desire to enjoy included there without any change whatsoever. Understand what our sages imply, that his name and desire in Gatria, meaning the desire to enjoy. So what isn't clear, that state is so whole and perfect. Why there needed to be a creation, a removal. What was the state, whole or not? It says relative to the equivalence of form, the desire was already created in equivalence of form of fight it's the end of correction seemingly, except for one thing that is lacking. Well, what is lacking? What's missing? He writes here. And his name is one. Seemingly nothing is missing, so why was there restriction? That was the question he feel in his own desire. Wholeness, so it's not he and his name is one. No, but he says yes, he was created in the form of he and his name is one, so why was there a restriction like you're asking? That's a question there's never an answer for it if we can tie it for a second with the introduction to the book of I think it says 3 states were created, and the final state was created in wholeness, but they really depend on one another. So the question is that state of he and his name is one that we read about. What does that depend on? It depends on the light that created it, that formulated it. What's lacking in that? That is establishing the desire, that the desire will be completely satisfied if it's missing the fact that he will obey by itself there. That's it. Don't ruin it. That's what he needs. That's what he's lacking, because everything he receives he gets from above, and now he starts feeling a lack, unpleasantness, a deficiency, that this can come under the condition that he demands it on his own. So why does he call it he and his name is one? Because actually in creation nothing is lacking. Also now you're adhered to the creator only, not according to your tendency. All right, let's hear from Women Turkey. 8 says he and his name are one. Is there this duality that comes from the process of creation? Yes. Why, what characterizes the name of the creator is his name, dependent on the vessel that reveals it. What separates the vessel from the light? What's different in the light from the vessel? The difference between the light and the vessel that the light wants to bestow, the vessel wants to receive according to what it receives. That's okay as much as it can. So it feels that it's not okay its state, and this deficiency awakens the vessel on the next degree. Okay, who should we ask? Bako. 1. To build a complete state in the vessel. You said we need 2 kinds of light. Yes, so the source of one light is the initial light of he and his name is one. The second source is us. We're not the source of light. I made a mistake in how I phrase that. I meant the reflected light. A reflected light comes from the created being, and it goes through the creator. Still, in order for us to be able to build, to construct this whole state that we continuously fail to do, is that because that state is included of these 2 parts, and we're lacking reflected light through completed. Yes. B. Okay, morning. It says here the desire to receive is not established in the minute being, except for his awakening to receive on his own. My question is, where does that incorporate in the process of activating the Remo, the record, relative to a person that advances us toward the upper light? The thing is that as much as you want to advance to the creator, to the light, you discover more and more the deficiency in that, and then it turns out that you reach the degree of to the biggest desire, which needs to be in, but actually you reach. So there's one thing and an opposite. At this point we do not advance based on time on the record, but we seemingly create it. We discover the women Hebrew. Is there a noticeable difference in a person between receiving the light of and receiving the light of? Of course, receiving the light of mercy of is to remain impassive. Receiving the light of is to draw the light and be filled by it, to actually bestow in practice. No, there are a few more here. Slovak 5. See Slovakia 5. Thank you. Should we focus on our desire to receive from the creator instead of our will to receive? Incorporeal, is this the correction of our will to receive in the gap between one and the other, between the W, to receive that the Creator is awakening us, and the to receive that we ourselves would want. The F on thank you, there's no change in that. The desire to receive is a result of the light. Question is if the Chang is when the Ru to receive precedes the light. The W receive precedes the light is the desire of creation that belongs to the Creator, to the actions of the Creator, and that is considered a disparity of form. Yes, 32. How can we change the W to receive? According to Gatria again, how can we transform the desire to receive? According to Gatria, Gatria is a name from attaining the name of the desire. We can't change it. We can change it, but not by knowing its name. So the question isn't doesn't exist. Okay, all right. Woman, women. 10. It's a closed system. It always described as a closed system. Yeah, and here it says that he's obligated to extend greater abundance, but they did not define how to grow it, whether boundaries it opens up us to mistakes. The abundance depends on the desire. Increase the desire, and by that, as a result, you increase the abundance. But the word to increase, without the definition of how to increase, is it not opening us up to a mistake? I don't know, I don't understand. All those turnarounds you're trying to through all kinds of philosophy to get in there, that's not it. Woman, women, Turkey. 10. Do the names of the Creator change with the form that a person takes under her own conditions? Yes, woman. Latin, women, Latin. 24. Can we yearn for the end of the ACT is in the initial thought of creation? How can we yearn through the connection between us and the T, that each one awakens the other, and be less in honor? We can increase our will to receive, even in order to be still. Okay. 1. This equivalence between his name and desire, and can we imagine it in such way that each time the desire has to bring itself to become equivalent to the light? Yeah, in that way, you know it from different angles, because it is expressed in different forms. On the one hand, his name; on the other hand, desire. We always make that connection from both sides, or it's only the desire that changes itself. Desire is expressed in different ways in order for us to know the one who carries that desire, so we know it from different angles, different observations. With the individual person, the desire grows with yearning, craving, longing. That also reveals the records. When we go to the 10, how does that come to be expressed? Is there also revelation of records? There also longing and craving also. It's similar to that. What do we have to pay attention to during the connection? What do we have to pay attention to? As much as our heart gets inspired from the closeness between us. Thank you. Maybe we'll go to the next part. Yeah. Sing a song and go to the next part. Through the fire we ignite. There's a place where we unite through the heart, a stream of light piercing through the night. Through the fire we ignite. There's a place where we unite through the heart's a stream of life piercing through the night, and together with a torch that burns, together with a heart that he ears, all together with just one go pieces to one hold, and together with the torch the bird, together with a heart that's all together with just one to one. Together shadows dance with light, together in a L beyond place and time. Together shadows dance with together in the land beyond place and time. Through the fire we ignite. There's a place where we unite through the heart, a stream of life piercing through the night. Through the fire we ignite. There's a place where we unite through the heart's a stream of life piercing through the night, and together with a torch the burns together with a heart that he ears, all together with just one go from peas to and together with a torch that burst together with a heart that he ears, all together with just one go from pieces to one. Oh, together shadows dance with light together in a land beyond place and time. Together shadows dance with light together in the land beyond place and time. We are reading from the writings of the article Fear of the Messiah. Yes, beautiful article, very short, laconic, only page and a half, but very important. Of the Messiah redemption only through Kabbalah know that this is what it means, that the children of Israel are redeemed only after the wisdom of the hidden is revealed to a great extent, as it is written in the Z. With this composition the children of Israel emerged from exile. This is because at that time there was hope for redemption, as the writing of the Z, which began in the days of Rash, was during the days of Rash. Teacher said about him, there will step forth a star out of Jacob also. After the ruin of there was great hope, meaning there were such periods in history when they thought that this group called the children of Israel, people of Israel, that they can now reach the end of correction, and after them the whole world will reach it, but it did not transpire because of this writing there and concealing it. Because of this Rash permitted himself and disclosed the wisdom of the hidden in his books however it was with great care, since he permitted only a beata right he could disclose within the nation, so only the sages of the children of Israel would understand, and the sages of the nations would not understand, for fear that the wicked would know how to serve their masters. For this reason, as soon as they saw that the time was too soon for Israel's redemption, they hid it. That was at the time of the sages of the since we find that much as our sages wrote their matters inside the Z, again writing the Z and concealing it. Because of this Rash permitted himself to disclose the wisdom of the hidden in his books however it was with great care, since he permitted only Robbie a beata right he could disclose with intimation, so only the sages of the children of Israel would understand, and the sages of the nations would not understand, for fear that the wicked would know how to serve their masters. For this reason, as soon as they saw that the time was too soon for Israel's redemption, they hit it. That was at the time of the sages of the since we find much of our sages wrote their matters inside the Z, what is at time different than the time they were in. They said it's the time of Messiah, and we say that we're in the time of the Messiah. So what's the difference? The difference is that back then it was also our time worthy for the complete redemption, probably, but in something it was lacking. Let's read further and see what was nevertheless lacking at that time. What's the danger? That the wicked would know how to work their master, because without correcting themselves they could somehow serve him and receive from him various answers, maybe correct answers that will bring them up degrees even without being worthy of it. Without changing internally, they will raise themselves, ritually create the conditions for climbing the ladder that reminds it could be, but that's an essential degree for advancing towards Lishma. Yes, no, that's not a necessary degree. How to explain it without correcting your vessels with whom you're going to be working with the light and the records, so without that you can't approach the light in there and to do whatever you want with them, because after all you're not corrected. Certain things awaken in you uncorrected desires, actions, so there's an opportunity to receive without correcting ourselves. Yes, this opportunity is even highlighted is seemingly it exists inside the system on the one hand, on the other hand we're not allowed to use it, was given specifically so be able to reject it specifically. Here some of the correction comes to this proposal of a certain path, certain way, but we reject it. Does it mean that we receive in reason with no faith this depicted state? We will scrutinize it further. What is faith without reason? Reason without faith, or that both of them exist simultaneously? There's an expression in Aramaic here that maybe explains. Here's the fear of the sages in revealing the Z. So what's the meaning of this expression? That we'll have to reveal. It revealed the book of Zeta, everyone, and because they saw that time was still too soon for the Israel's redemption, they hid it. That composition that was at the time of the sages, the on one hand we relate to this world is fake, on the other hand we're working with everything the Creator is sending us through this world. So what's important and what isn't important? Why did Kist bother writing if all the attainments are above this world? The Kabbalists bothered writing for several reasons, some of whom we don't know about, and we would understand even if we knew about them, but we need to understand nevertheless that everything they've done created corrections in the world that brought the lights closer to us, and specifically through their labor we are approaching revelation. We begin to feel where is the part of the Kabbalists, where is our part? It's like in every generation, when we advance, then the more we build games for kids, we publish books, we do all kinds of things for their sake. By that they become wiser, more mature, healthier, if you can say, compared to children who lived a long time ago. We know that when we study Z, we do it for the reforming light that will develop us, and we work in a group. That's where the work is. Yes, what's the danger of the nations revealing the Z? They won't find anything in there. Why is it dangerous? They can't discover what's in there. They can't. I think this speaks of the nations of the world in a person. A person wants to use all these means in order to attract for itself these people, or bring itself closer to the Creator. That was their fear, that it will stop the development for him in the world. Yeah, it was holding on to the kip, to the shell, that's man itself. But we see that in the world there's people that study the Z. They supposedly find all kinds of stuff in there, so that stops the world's development. This attitude to learning the all. Certainly there are those who fall into this type of study, and they wish to extract, in addition to internal development, all kinds of wisdoms, philosophies, and they twist themselves and humanity perhaps in an opposite direction. There's a lot there. Humanity is in it for thousands of years. What does it mean to receive without correcting himself? It seems that the restriction works here, and here the restriction doesn't work. So does it work? Exactly. One of our corrections, even when the upper light opens up, we create a restriction and we refuse receiving it, although we want it really badly. But we stop ourselves, we restrict ourselves. By that we grow up. Okay, good. Woman, you to women, I asked you a question and you answered that. Read the Z, and we have 14 chapters of the Z. So don't you feel sorry that anybody doesn't read it? I don't know how to read it. Can you explain it first? To simply read, but in a language you understand. Russian? Yes, if you have Russians in Russian, you need to start reading it, and gradually maybe you're not going to understand anything received by your as stories, legends, but Nevertheless, it will change you. You will change, so I recommend to everyone to read the book of. So should we have a certain preparation before it, maybe read it alone or in a group? No, you need nothing. It's very complex to read in a group. To assemble for the time being, read on your own. Each one can open up the book and start reading the book of. So simply sink into it, immerse in it. Don't read all the introductions but the book of the itself, an article of the letters, article of RAB. Similar, just read it. Sometimes I have like a bad mood, so it doesn't matter what mood I'm coming to read the book with. Why should you have a bad mood? That's my nature. I always have a bad mood. That's because you're proud. Yeah, that's a big problem. I'm trying, you're not trying. You're not trying. A woman. MOS who or that. And what does it mean that they wrote their matters in the there was a group of wise people, sages, who at the time wrote parts of the book of the Kabkabu. For thank you, a question from a friend. Are there any souls who already reached the final correction? Yes, there are such souls, but for the time being very few of them exist. Woman English 1. So good morning again. Morning. It talks about a book called the T. Is there a book called T? Because we know about. I don't know in the book. No, there is the book of Za, and there's a book called T, corrections of the Za, but it doesn't matter. For the time being we can read both. Okay, thank you. We title Disclosing the Kabbalah is the Creator's Will. Indeed, it was the Creator's will that would appear. This is why it wandered onto the widow of. She inherited the manuscript from her husband and probably told her nothing of the prohibition to disclose, and she by chance put it up for sale again. Disclosing the is the Creator's will. Indeed, it was the Creator's will that it would appear. This is why wandered onto the widow of. She inherited the manuscript from her husband, and he probably told her nothing of the prohibition to the scow, and she by chance put it up for sale. Leon was one of the last great Kabbalists who came after Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon was in the 1st, 2nd century C, and Rabbi Moshe the Leon was in the 12th, 13th centuries. Of course, she knew nothing about it, but when she remained the widow and moneyless, he started to sell his books, sell off the books of RAB. And in this way the book of Zagot published or publicized, because she sold to anyone who wanted to buy it. And since then the book of was revealed to the world by this woman. She didn't know what was written in it. She didn't know anything about the prohibition to disclose it, but that's what happened. What does he say? The Creator's will is that the Kabbalah would be revealed. Insisted it happen through the widow. Israel's troubles are because of the disclosure of Kabbalah. Indeed, to this day, this matter caused many ruins in the house of Israel for the above reasons. Was it something that happened not according to his will, and it caused many problems for the Noah of Israel? He continues, Israel's troubles are because of the disclosure of Kabbalah. So that's what I just read. Should I keep going? Yes. The benefit from disclosing Theba, however, there is no bad without good. Therefore this control that the nations have obtained by sealing the secrets of the Torah gave big thrust to the development of holiness. In my assessment, we are in a generation that is standing at the very threshold of redemption, if we only know how to spread the wisdom of hidden in the masses. Yeah, everything there is good and there is bad, so the good is the wisdom of Kabbalah was revealed, and the bad is that it made its way to people who are not ready according to their inner development, ready to receive it, to hear it and perceive it properly, the wisdom of, and that's what happened for now. First benefit, apart from the simple reason of he has swallowed down riches, and he will vomit them. For this will Reveal to all what is between my son and my father-in-law, and the difference between the core of the nucleus and the upper shell from which all the sages of the nations of the world peel. This is because all the camps of Israel that have denied the Torah are sure to return to the Creator and his work, meaning even though the wisdom of Kabbalah was disclosed in such a way through all kinds of people who are ignorant about what it's speaking of, did not speak the language of, they didn't know how the methods of correction connected into the lights who expand from above down and over all the vessels, and so on so forth. Even though this is how it's happening, nevertheless no bad without good, there's no good without bad. This how our world is made. That gave a serious push to the development of the wisdom of and the dissemination of it as well. We are truly before the final revelations of the wise of to everyone, to all of humanity's second benefit. There is another reason for it. We have proof that there is a precondition for redemption for all the nations of the world to acknowledge Israel's law as it is written, and the land will be full of knowledge, as in the example of the Exodus from Egypt, where there was a precondition that Pharaoh too would acknowledge the true God and his laws, and would allow them to leave. Okay, who is asking here? Have to thank you. He says that we're at the end of redemption if we just know how to spread the wisdom in the masses. So what should we know in the dissemination? What do he mean that in the dissemination of the wisdom of Kabbalah we would quickly come to the revelation of the wisdom of Kabbalah in all of humanity, and by that be rewarded with the arrival of the Messiah, the revelation of the general upper force in us. Is there something special we should know about the way we deceit? We don't need to know because we lack the vessels for it. We simply need bring about the dissemination of the wisdom of Kub throughout all humanity as much as possible. We should start reading the Z, so maybe we can study the book with you every day in the lessons. Okay, I hear you. The meaning of the dissemination of the wisdom for the whole world is that all people have to come and study like we're studying it. Anyone who wants. Yes, is there an importance how we got it, that it was revealed by chance, or is it important that it was revealed, or also how is it important how we pass it on? Important thing is it was revealed, and in what ways the Creator arranges it according to his own calculations. Where are we? Redemption through disclosing the Kabbalah to the nations of the world. Redemption through disclosing Kabbalah to the nations of the world. Oh, let it go. We are finished the lesson, so all the best to all of you, and until tomorrow. So dear friends, today Sunday, November 12th, 23, we will have a world from 6:30 to 7:30 in the evening. In the system today's schedule, Sunday at 10:40 the news, at 11:10 the introduction to the book of Z, at noon the noon lesson, and as we said, at 6:30 we'll end with a song. When we're lost in the dark and cages we are bound, and the key to the locks of the heart can be found if we just had to hear and teach us how to feeling, show us how to melt in the things of your love through every face, every voice, every breath, the good from above. You're the kid who open up the heart, you're the song to take us through the dark, you're the SE that binds every part, and we're going to rise together to a vision of your love, and we're going to rise together. There's a voice deep inside, and it's calling us here to the place way above every doubt, every fear. You teach us how to hear and teach us how to feel, show us how to melt in the flames of your love, every face, every voice, every breath, and give from above. You're the key to open up the heart, you're the song that take us through the dark all the see the BS every part, and we're going to rise together to a vision of your love, and we going to rise together, teach us how to hearing, teach us how to feeling, show us how to melt in the flames of your love through every face, every voice, every breath, and get from above. You're the key to open up the heart, you're the song that take us through the dark, go still the finds every part, and we going to rise together to a vision of your love. We going to rise together to a vision of your, we going to rise together by friends. Thank you, sweet dreams, life. Oh.